I said in the last video I uploaded that my mother appeared to be quite free in Australia, actually almost happy. And I was puzzled about that, but I shouldn't have been. She didn't have a passport, she couldn't escape. That's one thing. Secondly, when they weren't in Singleton, where one of my father's daughters now lives, they were in a little place called Glennies Creek, which I understand is practically in the outback. Again, she couldn't escape. And again, with the abduction stories, true stories I've been watching, captors after a while feel safe to allow their prisoners some degree of freedom. Once they're satisfied, for example, that the captive is not going to try to escape and or cannot escape, they will allow them a little bit of freedom. A lot of them were allowed out in the garden occasionally, or even on shopping trips. Natasha Kampuch, as I said, was taken on a skiing trip. In a lot of these cases, eventually, once the abductor is satisfied in his mind that his captive is not going to try to escape, he does allow them a certain amount of freedom. But my mother did not have a passport when she was in Australia. As I said, my father brought my brother back on his, with spouse crossed through. I have never found my mother's passport for her return trip. I did have some more thoughts about this, and they've instantly gone out of my head. But that's one possible explanation as to why. Oh, I know what they were. My mother did have that freedom in Australia. Bloody long way, the other side of the world, from England, and no way for her to come back. Although she obviously managed it at some point. There was a letter from my uncle to her at one point saying, surely Dick's, my father's, contract, 2-year contract, must be up by now. They were there 4 or 5 years, I don't know. So a little bit of confusion over the exact length of time. And of course, I posted a photograph of a compact my mother had to Rosemary from Dick, and she told me, and I'd forgotten, that it was from her brother, not my father. Her brother's name was Dick. Anyway, I've also speculated as to why the hell she didn't conceive when she was in Australia, although of course she may have. That only leaves the question of what happened to the offspring. Aborted, or kicked out of her, or left behind, adopted out, God knows. Trafficked, perhaps. And I am serious, yes. But I think by that time, with no apologies, my father, in revenge for my mother's unwillingness in the bedroom department, but partly in revenge anyway, had begun to use her children instead. There is an account of him snuggling down in bed with my brother, which I find creepy given my experience of my father and the fact that he told me he liked children of both sexes, but preferred females. Liked sexually. I wonder if he began using her children in revenge, and just because any port in a storm. I do wonder about male sexuality, and Mother Nature seems to have got it a bit wrong in the case of humans. So that covered a couple of points, I think.